Hello, good morning everyone. It is Sarah Shipton here from Scrapbooking with Sarah, and I am coming live to you today on Tuesday, November 14 with another Technique Tuesday class. And today I'm going to be showing you how you can embellish your scrapbook pages using die cuts and a colouring technique. So I'm super excited to share this with you. And here is one I've prepared earlier. So I'm going to demonstrate today stamping this, and I'm going to demonstrate cutting it with the new Close to My Heart die cutting and embossing machine. And I'm going to show you the colouring technique as well. So fun. And I'm also going to show you how I've created this beautiful blended background here on my layout for my journaling box. So let's start with the pattern that we are using for this week. We are working with the Make It From Your Heart Volume 3 book, and we are working with pattern number 15, which is on page 34 of the book. Now, one of the things I love about this particular pattern is that we are using pattern paper for the base page. So you are going to need 2 sheets of matching pattern paper from a paper pack that you've got in your stash, or if you are using the Silver Bells paper collection, I have used this mink pattern paper with the white daisy pattern through that. It looks almost like a string of fairy lights pattern throughout the paper. Now, if you don't want to use 2 sheets of pattern paper as your base, you can definitely use cardstock. I know sometimes I'm like, oh, I hate covering up that beautiful pattern paper. So you can definitely use cardstock if you don't want to use up 2 sheets of your pattern paper. But I know you girls have got a bunch of paper in your stash that you could absolutely use to recreate this particular layout. So we're using pattern paper for the base page, and then on the outside here, we've got another piece of pattern paper, and then at the top and the bottom, another piece of pattern paper. And I love this pattern because it gives the illusion that this pattern paper is actually running all the way down the page and underneath your photos, when in actual fact, that's not the case. We've just cut a strip at 6 inches in length. And then this one's a little bit thicker at 1.5 inches. And this one's just a bit thinner at 1.25 inches in width. So I love that illusion. And then what we're doing is we are adding, I have used shimmer trim along the top here. So I'm going to be talking to you today about using shimmer trim on your scrapbook layouts. This is the new color in Journey. You could definitely use zip strips. So if you've got 2 coordinating zip strips, you can run them along the top there. You will need a zip strip at 9 inches and then a zip strip at 8 inches. And then underneath that, you're going to pop your photo collage. So you're not matching any of these photos. They're just going straight onto the base of your scrapbook page. This area here was designed in the pattern for a 5 by 7 inch photo, which I didn't have. So I've taken 2 landscape photos. They are still cut at 5 inches in width, but then to make that the 7 inch, I've cut this photo at 3.5 and that photo at 3.5 as well. So yes, girls, sometimes your scrapbooking does require using math. We've got a 4 by 4 inch photo here and then a 3 by 4 inch photo here. And then on the right-hand side of your layout, your collage is going to incorporate your journaling box. So this collage is 9 inches in width and this one is only 8 inches in width. So we're using a 4 by 4 inch photos here, and then 2 3 by 4, 1 photo and a journaling box here. So I'm going to demonstrate the blending of that today. And then on my layout, in terms of embellishing, I have used leftover stickers from my Silver Bells paper pack and sticker sheet. Well, in actual fact, the workshop, scrapbooking workshop kit. So we have a new catalogue that launched on November 1st. And in here we have 2 paper collections. The paper collection for this month is called Silver Bells. So it's a very neutral tone paper collection, which I love, because then what that means is it gives you the creativity freedom, or the creative freedom, sorry, to be able to incorporate any color cardstock or any color shimmer trim or glitter paper into your layout so you can bring out some color. You can see here I've used the Journey shimmer trim along the top, and that's just bringing out the blue tones that you can see here in my Christmas dinner photos with the swimming pool, some blues in some of the outfits, and it's got quite a cool tone in the photos there as well, just with the time that they were taken. So that's what I love about the Silver Bells paper collection. You can coordinate these neutral tones with any of your Christmas decor. Today I'm going to be working with the Silver Bells card making stamp set and thin cut. So this is a stamp set and thin cut for card making, but I'm going to show you today how you can incorporate this into your scrapbooking layouts. You can see here that we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the stamps. This blue outline around your stamp indicates that there is a coordinating thin cut for the stamp set. So 5 of those stamps in this set, you will be able to align your thin cut around the top of them, and then you'll be able to cut that. I'm going to be demonstrating that to you today as well. So we're working with this one here. We've got a coordinating stamp set for scrapbookers. This is the scrapbooking workshop kit. So I did share this in my Technique Tuesday class last week. Now, I've used some of the leftover stickers from this pack along the top here, and actually I'm going to show you this here. This was actually the scrap of the sticker that's in between the 2 border stickers. So this is actually a 1/2 inch border sticker, and then in between that you've got this thin bit here. So I've actually taken that off and stuck that through the top. I was in 2 minds about using the Journey shimmer trim, to be honest with you, because it is very bright. And so that's why I ended up popping that gold sticker over the top. We've got some stickers here left over from my Silver Bells scrapbooking workshop kit here. I've used the white dots. So these dots come in your scrapbooking workshop kit. You can also purchase them individually. And you'll have 3 sheets of glitter gems, or glitter dots, I should say. There's a bronze colour, a charcoal grey colour, and then also this sort of white pearl colour. So they come in the scrapbooking workshop kit. I've used the leftover ones there, or you can purchase them separately to embellish. This here has been stamped. So I've stamped this from the Silver Bells card making stamp set and thin cut, and then I've cut that out with its coordinating thin cut. This is also a stamp. So we've got a stamp here with the die cut, and then this is a sticker. And then on this side here, we've got a stamped die cut here, and then just embellish with some stickers underneath as well. So because I'm using pattern paper all the way along the base here, there's no coloured cardstock here at all. Because I'm using a lot of pattern paper, you don't need a huge amount of embellishments to embellish your scrapbook layout, because you are seeing this beautiful embellished paper down the side here. So I've just kept the embellishments quite simple, but I'm going to demonstrate this here for you today. So let's move that to the side. Oh, Sue Robinson's here. Hi, Sue. Thanks so much for joining us this morning. It's great to see you live. Thank you so much. Alrighty, so I'm going to get my Versamat out because I'm going to do my stamping first of all. And we have got, what have I got next? I need my stamp set. So I've got my foam square that comes with my stamp set. I'm going to pop that down on my Versamat first of all. And then I have some scrap white daisy here that I'm going to do the stamping on. Now, the coordinating colours for Silver Bells, so when it came time to do my stamping, and I will share with you that I did get my inspiration here from these cards here. So they've demonstrated how you can use the stamp set and thin cuts on these cards, but I love them. I think they're a great size to be able to use on a scrapbook layout as well. The scrapbooking stamp set and thin cut is gorgeous too. I haven't invested in this one as of yet, but the stamps and the thin cuts here will be bigger because you're going to take up more space for your embellishing and your titles on your scrapbook layout, having that 12 by 12 space to work with. Now, what was I going to show you here? Oh, yes, the coordinating colours for Silver Bells. So when we release a paper collection, we actually outline what the coordinating cardstock colours are for that paper collection. We've got toffee, charcoal, mink, linen, and white daisy. So when it comes time for me to think about, you know, stamping my embellishments, I will look at the coordinating cardstock colours and I will figure out which one is going to be the best one to use. So I'm using white daisy here today. There were 2 inks that I used on that layout. One was toffee and one was charcoal. And so I'm going to stamp my embellishments in the charcoal ink. Now, you could definitely use black or intense black or archival black. I'm popping that on my acrylic block. I've already conditioned this stamp because I've used it before. If you've not conditioned your stamps for the first time, you just want to rub them just on the inside fleshy bit of your arm there. And that just helps to get any of the manufacturing like tackiness and residue off your stamp set there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to tap this up in the ink. I'm just going to give it a twist to make sure it's covered evenly. And we're going to tap that as a finish. And then I'm going to stamp this on my white daisy cardstock. Now, you're just applying pressure there when you're doing that stamping. You don't need to rock your stamp. I've got my wet stamp chamois here and I'm just wiping that over my stamp, and then I'm sitting my stamp chamois back in its stamp chamois case just to the side here. I'm going to take that stamp off my acrylic block and pop her back down there on the carrier sheet. Let's do this one. I haven't stamped this one yet. I'm just going to do a couple here to show you. So a really good technique when you're doing your stamping and your die cutting is to make best use of your time and productivity when you're running these stamps through your die cutting machine, is to stamp a couple of different images that coordinate with your thin cut, because you're making the best use of that time while you're running it through your die cutting machine anyway. So I'm just going to take that excess off there. Alrighty, so we've got those 2 stamped. Let me just pop all of this to the side here, because now I'm going to grab up my die cutting and embossing machine. I'm going to pop that over here to the side. Alrighty, so we're just going to move this up here. Now, I haven't demonstrated this new die cutting and embossing machine as of yet. So this is the new Close to My Heart one. I will have this at my Christmas crop on the 9th of December. It works a little bit differently than the Cuttlebug that you guys would be used to using at my workshops, or you might have invested in one yourself already. And with the cutting, you actually cut in a different order to the Cuttlebug as well. So I do want to give a class on this at a workshop in person rather than just letting everyone try to figure it out, because it took me a little bit to figure it out, let me tell you, because the cutting order is a little bit different. There is a video that you can watch on my website, so I'll link that in the comments below if you are going to invest in this machine. The machine retails for $264. It has a standalone shipping fee as well. So you can invest in that machine, and I do offer an afterpay option as well with a minimum spend of $300. So when you purchase the machine and add the shipping on, it will take you over the $300. If you do want to make use of the afterpay option, you will need to shop in store for afterpay with me. You can't use afterpay on my website. All right, so we've got our cutting mat here, and our cutting mat is actually what goes down first. So it's a little bit of a different order with this embossing machine. And you'll note that I've got washi tape all over the top of my die cutting machine. And the reason for that being is the magnetic cutting mat that I use on my Cuttlebug and that I have at workshops. When you run the magnetic cutting mat through this machine, it warps the magnetic cutting mat, okay? So I would not recommend that you use the magnetic cutting mat in this particular type of machine. So we are back to using washi tape with this one, which is what I wanted to avoid. But I have to tell you, this 13-inch mat is so good because it actually matches the size of the platform as well. So as you can see here, I can get so much cutting done. I'm a lot more productive even without having to use that magnetic cutting mat. So we are popping my paper on top of the cutting mat, and I've stamped 2 images here. So now I'm going to get the coordinating die cut that's going to go over this stamped image, and I'm just lining that up over the outside of my stamped image like so. And then I'm going to grab some of my washi tape and I'm just going to stick that over the top of my cardstock there. I've got another image here that I've stamped. So this is a little Christmas bauble with some holly. I'm just popping my die cut over the top of that stamped image, grabbing some washi tape, and that just keeps the die cut in place so it won't move around as I'm running it through the machine. Rightio, so I've got my die cutting and embossing machine here. There are some dials on the outside here, so it does come with an instruction manual. I have already preset my dials to the cut that I desire for the thin cuts, and my manual handle is here. So we're just going to open up the mats and then insert them in like so. And when you do that, it actually keeps your die cutting machine. You can see here now, this is actually suctioned in on my base. So with the order of these cutting mats, I've got my cutting mat down first, and then I put my platform over the top. So it's a little bit of a different sandwich order. You will see here it does say not a cutting surface. So it took me a little while because the order of this is different to how we do it with the Cuttlebug. So I'm going to feed that in, and it's much easier to use than my Cuttlebug, I will say that. So if you are in the market for a very good quality die cutting and embossing machine, this one is definitely the way to go. Most of the die cutting and embossing machines on the market are around that price. The reason I upgraded to this one is because my Cuttlebug has had its day. The plates are completely trash, and that will happen. You will need to replace your cutting mats. That's not normal. So I did, I've still got my Cuttlebug and we can have it to use it, but this is just so much better. So you can see here, I've got my 2 thin cuts that I've cut now. And I'm going to pop my cutting mat and my embossing machine to the side. So we just flip them out and press that back in like so. Oh, you can see that's really suctioned onto the table very well there. Pop my cutting mats to the side. And now what we're going to do is we are going to colour our die cuts. So I'm going to do this little bell here, and you can see on my layout. So these particular stamps where you've got like an outline image, these are the stamps that you're going to use for your colouring techniques. So whether you're using pencils, whether you're using tri-blend markers, whether you're doing watercolouring, this particular stamp set that has got that sort of open image is great for that colouring technique. And here's one that I've done earlier here. Now, I'm going to add on a little extra something here because I looked at this afterwards and I thought, oh, that looks really good. When I looked at the stamped image, you can see here, these have actually been sponged around the outside. So I thought, well, while I'm here, let's do that. Now, I've stamped that in charcoal just so the black wasn't so harsh. The charcoal is one of the coordinating colours with the Silver Bells paper collection. And then I've got my toffee ink pad here. I've got one of my wedges from my sponge, and I'm just going to dab that in the ink, and I'm just going to go around and I'm going to sponge my die cut, okay? So there's lots of different ways you can colour this. You're going to see me do some different techniques over the coming weeks with this particular collection. Now, by sponging that, it's just giving it a bit of an antique look. You can see the difference here now. I think that really finishes off. So if you are going to do this particular technique on your layouts, maybe sponge the outside of your die cuts first, because you can see that that makes a really big difference. Oh, now I want to take it off and sponge it. I might very well do that. Okay, so now we're going to do the colouring. We're using the new Spectrum Noir Colorista coloured pencils that we've got in our range. Now, you can purchase these packs separately, or you can buy all 3 packs together in a bundle. It's a saving only of $2 as opposed to getting them individually. But the pack that we're going to use today is the Perfect Portrait. So these colours are your beautiful soft pinks, your natural browns, your warmer tone colours. Excuse me, the thing I love about these coloured pencils is that they're designed specifically for layering and blending and just colouring. You're not going to be adding any water to these. These are not watercolouring pencils. They are specifically just for colouring. So we're going to take our pencils out. They sit on a tray like so. Now, when it came time for me to decide what colour pencil I wanted to use, I had a look at the colours here in my catalogue, and it looked like very much a antique or sepia tone. And when I opened my pencils, there is actually a pencil which is called brown sepia. So I have used this coloured pencil, and what we're going to do here is we are just going to colour over. We're just adding colour where you can see this stamped bit is here. So it's just adding an extra accent of colour. Now, I had a go at doing this with just colouring, and then I had a go at doing this by just doing the lines over the stamped inked bit. So I guess it's really just a personal preference. There's no right or wrong way, but I did find the ones that I did like this, where I'm just lining over the lines, actually I think turned out better. It wasn't as solid a colour as the ones that I did actually colour, if that makes sense. So I'm not going back over the pencil itself, I'm just marking these lines here. And I'm just going over the stamped bits and highlighting those ones with the lines. You could do some little soft colouring of these, I don't know if these are berries or baubles. You could do some soft colouring of those if you wanted to. I think that looks quite effective. So I'm just going over all the marked bits, like so. And when we are finished, you'll be like, oh wow, that looks super cool. I'm just colouring through there, and I'm just following the lines of the stamped section. And then we have ended up with a beautiful coloured bell. And now this is going to go on my scrapbook layout as an embellishment. So I think that the advantage of using the stamped and thin cut images as your embellishments, oh, I think that looks better with the sponge one. I might have to pull that off and stick that down. I think the advantage of using a stamp and a die cut for your embellishments is that once you've invested in your stamp set and thin cut, you can use it again and again and again, as opposed to your sticker sheets. Obviously, once you pull that sticker up and put it down on the layout, it's done. So I like to use a combination of both. If you've got a die cutting and embossing machine, then this would be a really good investment in terms of your embellishments, because you're going to get more bang for your buck in terms of being able to reuse them again and again. And they just don't go out of style. Like, they are absolutely gorgeous. So I'm going to colour that one in again later. So I love how that's finished off. And then what you're going to do is you're going to pop your embellishment on with some 3D foam tape. You can see I've used some 3D foam tape here. And with this one here, I've used some 3D foam tape. And then you can just tuck stickers in and underneath the bit that you've stamped and thin cut and coloured. And you're going to create a little embellishment cluster by adding some dots there as well. Now, I wanted to show you also quickly how I've done the blending here. Now, the reason I did this, so I've cut my journaling box in 3 by 4 inches, and I decided to actually blend the background of that purely because it was just too stark. It was too harsh, the white on the layout with all of this beautiful pattern paper. I just thought it needed a little bit of something else. So here's some 3 by 4 inch white daisy cardstock that I have pre-cut. And I'm just going to demonstrate what I've done here. I'm going to pop my pencil back in the carrier tray there. All right, I've got some scrap paper just off to the side here. I've got my toffee ink, and I've got one of my blending brushes. Now, I have done a video before on the blending brushes. 3 packs of 3 is really all you need. They're $29 each a pack. I'll add a link to the blending brushes at the comments after I post the video. And then this blending brush is from my pack where I've got the oranges and the greys and the black browns together, okay? So I'm just dabbing that up in the ink, and then I'm tapping off that there, and it will take a little bit of time, but you're just going to gradually build up this color until you get the depth or the darkness of the ink color that you want. I'm just doing this in an oval shape. So I'm not coloring the whole way out. I'm just doing around in oval circle, or not oval circles, oval circles aren't a thing. I'm just going around in an oval shape. And then you can slowly build up on that color until you get the desired outcome that you want. I'm just going to do a little bit here in the middle. So we're evening that out. And the ink does take a little bit to settle in as well, okay? So when you've finished doing that and you put it aside, you will note that it will actually end up a little bit deeper. And then all I've done here with my journaling box is I've ruled lines at 1/4 inch using my T-square ruler. And I've actually used the sepia brown Le Pen, which is not in the current Essentials catalogue. But I think you'll find the sepia pen is still available for sale on my website. So you'll find all your shimmer trims on page 22 that I've shared with you today. Your coloured pencils are on page 18 of your Essentials catalogue. And what else was I going to show you? The blending brushes are on page 35. You can get a 3-pack of the blending brushes there. And then the journal pens, we've only got the black journal pen in the Essentials catalogue now, girls. But I'm pretty sure if you went to my website, I've got a feeling the sepia pen is still available. I can't find it, but it's in there with all the journal pens. So that is today's Technique Tuesday class, ladies. I hope you enjoyed that and got some great techniques there and some tips on how to incorporate your stamped thin cuts and colouring with your coloured pencils into your scrapbooking layouts. Thanks so much for watching, girls. I will post this video. Enjoy the rest of your day.